Thank you for matching energy. Chad, this is huge. I was given a cappuccino. What do you have again?
I have black tea. Black tea. Like English breakfast. Starbucks.
No, I'm just trying to think. Is it black like the way tea would be Earl Grey? Is it like a type of tea, or is it a way you make the tea? What makes tea black? Does that mean like nothing in it, the way black coffee is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wait, what would you put into tea?
Cream. Sugar. Just the same thing as coffee, really.
I didn't know people did that.
Yeah, it's a lot like coffee, except less caffeine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do the American chauvinism thing. I genuinely can't stand it.
It really struck me how American you are when I met you. You're like, I was like, this is what Americans like.
You're wearing a baseball cap. I'm not. Baseball cap referencing an American political figure, as a matter of fact.
That's true, but this is just me trying to blend in.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like being American one.
Interesting. How do you square that?
I don't know. Okay, this might be a chauvinist opinion of mine, because people always say, you know, oh, you should live here, whatever. The Netherlands, Spain. And, I mean, I could. But I always feel like in those countries, you hear about the news locally, and American politics are world politics, you know?
Yeah.
When stuff happens here. It just feels
true.
nice to be at the, you know, center a little bit.
As a Canadian, I didn't know about American politics. I was like, I just thought that Barack Obama guy was my guy or something.
Yeah, literally, it's like, yeah, the fucking American cultural hegemony hits everyone. Like, for China, it's a whole different world, I guess, because, like, China, India, like, you know, huge countries like that, but just, like, paying attention to America.
It hits everyone all right. If we had to annex you or you annex us, which would you prefer?
I mean, honestly, getting annexed by Canada would probably be a much more, like, interesting timeline. Like,
yes.
Like, whatever had to have happened to have brought it to that point. I am very curious. Like, America has fallen and Canada, like Trudeau, 87 years old, I don't know, fucking mobilizes to reunite. Greater Quebec, I suppose. Quebec wants to extend its line of influence all the way from its province down to Louisiana, the other continental French holdout, you know? So naturally the armies must march south.
I wonder, do you have a Quebec hot take? Do you care about that, or?
I hate the Quebecois.
Interesting.
I despise
that makes
them.
sense. That makes
Every
sense.
one of them I've met has been an arrogant piece of shit. Every single one of them. Again, it's not an essentialist thing. I know the French blood carries the arrogance with it, and, but a lot of it I think is just like, anytime you give a privileged, like, regional, ethnic minority majority the feeling that they're different from the greater group that they're in, you get this bullshit. In fairness, I feel kind of the same way about Catalonians in Barcelona, in Spain, because they're also like this, well, we were actually the original inheritors of this area, blah, blah. And it's like, fuck you, you're the same. Spain has been Spain for a while, come on.
Basque Country's fine though, right?
Sure.
Okay, good, and I'm Basque.
All right.
Okay, so you said the center doesn't exist anymore, right? Because you get pulled.
Your whole channel was about how the center doesn't exist anymore. Still is, right?
I don't know. I just do whatever I want. But
there's the message there, right? Like
the center is just a fake, like an optical illusion, because you can't triangulate a point between two sides.
Yeah, and it doesn't exist in the current environment anymore.
No, just to stay in the same spot, you have to sprint. Yeah, I believe that. But I also need to make up a little story for myself to justify why I'm here. And that story is Jamaal Bowman is a cool leftist, and his opponent is a cringe, honky neolib centrist. Yeah, and that works for me.
Nailed it, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I don't know what a centrist means to, like, the average person in today, because the idea of centrism has only ever existed for politicians. In real life, ordinary people are lunatics.
Right.
Like, ordinary people will have wildly contrasting and mutually exclusive views on issues that you didn't even know people could have hot takes about, you know?
Yeah.
You'll have guys who are, like, progressive on labor, but then also think that, like, the police should arrest all illegal immigrants, but they're anti-racist and, like, march with BLM. You have people, like, they're all over the place. You've got people who deny the moon landing, but they think that what we're doing over at CERN is great. People are crazy.
People who believe in UFOs.
Yeah, people who, I mean, it's a lot of them, or ghosts. It's like 50% of the country believes in ghosts. And, like, centrism is like the big tent position you carve out as a politician to try to capture as many crazes as possible. I don't know if you can be a centrist as a regular guy. I think you can just be uninvolved. I think that's the closest you can get.
You can be, like, apolitical?
Yeah, you can try to be, right? And that's the dream right there, being the griller. But if you're involved, it's over for you. You're going to immediately develop like a hot take in a position, and somebody's going to be like, well, I don't think that's right. And then you're going to defend it. And 3 days later, you're going to be like, I don't know, a revanchist or some kind of lunatic, like single issue voter.
Right. Okay. So you don't think people can like look at the landscape and keep triangulating and like inch left, inch right, inch left, inch right?
I don't know why you'd want to.
Yeah. I mean, me neither, but
That sounds awful.
I feel like I know people who do that. But I don't think I don't know how relevant they are. You got interviewed at P.F. Ewing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but like identifies as radical centrist, but that's not a real thing.
I doubt that personally. But
Okay.
I understand. I think that like people think it's smart, like it makes them smart.
Yeah.
To, like, find the balancing. I don't know. It's you have to accept like to a point, right? That all political engagement is kind of fucking cuckoo, and everyone's a crank to some extent, and everyone's trying their best. Well, not everyone's trying their best, but like everyone is fronting that to varying extents, and some people are trying their best, and you have to thread the needle and do the best you can in that environment. I think some people try to make it out like it's a chessboard, and I don't know, it's just like West Wing shit to me, like cringe liberal, with the right heart and the right mind, you can like unite everyone under a cause. No, you can't. No one ever has. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not to be negative, I mean, I kind of like the chaos of it a little bit. I think people are interesting. I just think that reductive assessments, lead people to, like what you said, moving to stay in the center. What would a centrist have said about Israel and Palestine 1 year ago versus today? Because they would have had to have two very different positions to keep up with.
Yeah, I think that is how it goes. You keep just updating every 5 seconds. And it's like it's not a real political position, because if you're in a room with three people and one person says one thing, another person says another thing, you feel the need to like just position yourself between them, so you don't actually stand on anything solidly.
Can I ask you? Okay, wait, I want to ask you this, like in a raw sense, like not ideologically but personally. Do you ever feel yourself doing that, where you hear somebody with a take and you don't know if it's right or wrong? It sounds out there, but you don't know. So you think, okay, maybe like that, but a lesser version.
Yeah.
And then you see the other, and you think, okay, so somewhere in the middle, and then you end up like defending a take you don't actually know the merits of because it's in the center of two others.
Yeah, I do that all the time. It's fun.
It's easy.
It's fun. It's
easier
easy.
than.
It gives you clout, and it makes friends. And I'm high agreeable. You're disagreeable. That's where we differ.
Yeah, that's why I get in trouble so often.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree though.
Yeah.
With regards to, I guess like friend making. I mean, that's the point with politicians, right?
Making friends with as many groups as possible to form a coalition to win.
Yeah. At least, I don't know, until you do the Fetterman and you like give up on all that and just lose your mind.
Yeah.
He's crazy. Man.
Yeah, I again, Canadian, but I knew Fetterman from, he was running against Dr. Oz, and then was a progressive, and then now is like super pro-Israel.
He's been walking back on basically everything. I think that part of
that was like the first domino, the Israel thing, or?
Yeah, I think part of it is AIPAC money, and I think the larger part of it is that he was always an unstable and angry person, and that has been exacerbated by the stroke.
Okay.
Because he said some wild stuff recently too, like not just I'm not a progressive, but he's been like walking back on everything. Like all of his positions are falling in. You know what scares me a little bit? The belief that it's not always grifting when that happens, and people are just naturally crazy. Because to me, the grifting thing, that's like me imposing order on the universe.
Yeah.
The reason people do this is because, like they were paid off, or like there was an incentive.
Yeah, I agree. I think the grifting allegation is overplayed for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes people are just kind of wacky.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes people grift in a way where it's not actually financially beneficial for them sometimes, and then they're still called grifters. Yeah. Where's all this money coming from against Jamaal?
Well, AIPAC has a bunch of like super wealthy donors. Most of them are like, I don't know if I can say most of them, because in America, of course, it's all dark money, right? Like a lot of this stuff doesn't get, de-anonymized, but they're like Christian evangelicals, business moguls, that
Interesting.
kind of thing. AIPAC's usually gone after left-leaning candidates, so the excuse is always the Israel thing. In practice, they just get conservatives in,
Okay.
Or at most moderate liberals, when the other like option would be a very progressive liberal.
Okay.
It's kind of scary. I don't know.
And are they pushing right as far as they can, or are they more of like a status quo, maintain the order?
They're pushing pretty far right.
Yeah?
They've
Okay.
gotten some Jan 6 people.
Okay.
They've pushed for. I think that Latimer is about as far right as they could go here with any chance of him winning. Like that was the safe bet between viability and pushing against the progressivism.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you for having me on your stream, Vaush.
Yeah, the tight schedule of PV, they're efficient, you know?
Yeah.
Really, though, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
And
yeah.
I'll continue to see. You're here for the full?
I'm here for the full thing, yeah.
Wonderful, then I'll see you tons.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.